all know how much thought goes into storefronts or store layouts. So think about when you go to the grocery store. They are not happening to like, you know, put the milk in the back, every single one of them, or the bread to the side. You know, when you go into the grocery store, what way do you turn, right or left usually?
Right.
Right. They just make us go right. Why is that? I don't know. There probably is some money reason behind that. So you can do the whole circle and spend more. So a lot of effort goes, when you have a store, a lot of effort goes into organizing it, into making it look great and reflecting your vibe and your personality. And you try and like do that thing where people walk through and see everything, right? You don't want them to walk in at the front, buy what they need to. You want them walking back. So lots of effort goes into the planning. Yet sometimes with websites, almost no effort goes into planning. So I've seen a ton of websites where it's just thrown together and there's no pathway, there is no sense, there's no vibe, there's no cohesion. And we want cohesion because as people, that's what we're used to. We grow up in a cohesive society. We go to cohesive schools and cohesive stores. So when we go online, we expect that same thing. All right, a little bit about me before I start. I own Purple Bean Media, which is a digital marketing agency located in Brantford downtown. And sometimes I get to speak about things, and everything essentially I do is digital, except for when I'm in front of people like you. So tonight, here's our roadmap so you know where we're going to go. First, I'm going to talk about why a great website matters. Then we're going to talk about what makes a horrible website. And UX is just short form for user experience, and that is the name of the game. Next, I'm going to talk about 3 questions you need to immediately answer when someone lands on your website. Number 4, best practices and rules that you should never, ever, ever break. And number 5, SEO, because being invisible is a very cool superpower, but it's a horrible marketing strategy. So that is where we're going. If you guys have questions, feel free to interrupt me, okay? Because it's easier. All right, your website is your storefront. We talked about that. How so? Well, you want it to be clean, well lit. Think about your own stores, and we've been in some of your places, versus outdated or cluttered. Signage is essentially branding. It's essentially telling people what to do next. We have window displays that would represent almost like the homepage visuals on your website. And your open sign on the website would be your strong call to actions. What do people do next? So the goal is for someone to come in, stay a while, and take action. This is a crazy stat. 75% of consumers judge a company's credibility based on its website design. I'll say that again, credibility being the word. 75% of consumers judge a company's credibility based on its web design. So when I'm talking about your website, I'm not targeting you specifically, so don't get hurt. Think about how other people are perceiving your website. The problem when we do our own things is I know my business so well that I can't see it from an outsider's view. I just know it too well. I know everything I offer. You could study for 100 years, I'll still know my business better than you. Same with you guys. You know your business the best. So when you go on your website, when you use your lingo or whatever you're doing, your pictures, you understand why you're doing it, but does everybody else? And if they don't, you actually lose credibility and trust. And if you don't have somebody's trust, you do not have their money. In today's digital world, your website is the very first impression you get with a customer. So think about that. Does everyone have a website? Yeah, most people? Okay, sweet. Okay, so what does your website say about you? This is the front banner. If you go to my website, this is what you're gonna see. I tried to find a girl who looked like me with a camera because I want to show that I do that kind of stuff. And as soon as you leave, you see my header, social media and web design services. You see my logo, so you know you're in the right space. You have your little one-liner underneath. What does your website say about you? So think about your own website, and if you guys are bold enough, we can pull up some websites and talk about it and go through your website and see if it just kind of makes sense for everyone.
Is there a rule about how long that blurb should be underneath?
Underneath, there's just visual rules, and our graphic designer could probably talk more about that, but like you want to land and see what it's about. If you're reading a whole paragraph, you're losing people already,
So
right? You can have, when you scroll down, you can have more information and a lot of more content, but this is a quick look. As soon as you land on social media web design, I would bet a lot of people don't even read this.
Yeah, maybe not, huh?
But Google does, and we're going to talk about that later. Okay, so what makes a bad website? I googled bad websites, and this came up, and it really, it hurt my heart. It did something to me. I don't like it. I hate everything about this website. It's crazy. It's chaotic, and I didn't know even what to do next. So what did I do? I pressed back. I was like, I got to get out of here. This is horrible. This is a horrible website, and I didn't want to pick on anyone from our area, so I randomly picked this guy.
Wow.
But it's a bad website for many reasons. So let's talk about what makes a bad website. So poor user experience. User experience is exactly what it sounds like. It's what your customers are feeling and doing in your store. And this, again, it can be more than just the web. It's how they walk around your store, how they feel when they're sitting across from you when you're explaining things. We're going to obviously use it in a digital sense. Poor user experience. So someone goes on your website, what next? A cluttered design makes for very poor user experience for two reasons. One, no one likes cluttered, especially millennials. Millennials are against it. I think because we grew up with stuff on the walls and on the tables, I don't know, but specifically millennials are more about minimalism. A cluttered design is just too much. With this website, where do you even go? It's too much. So we want something a little cleaner than that.
Crazy bins online.
Too many colors, flashing lights, too many banners or pop-ups, it just hurts. There's no visual hierarchy, and nothing guides us when it's too cluttered, and we want to be guided. Number two, unclear navigation. Menus that are hidden. Okay, so you know when sometimes you're on a website and you're scrolling and then all of a sudden the menu's gone? But you're like, shoot, I want to read the About You page, what do I do next? That's just unclear, it's confusing. If users can't find what they're looking for in 2 to 3 clicks, they are out. Now we don't have to like that, but that's the fact. Amazon and Apple and these big companies are training all of us how to use websites. So they train us that we could have that thing in our cart in 2 clicks or 1 click. Sometimes we don't even have to fill out our credit card, it's amazing. So we need to be user-centered, user-focused, user-first for that kind of stuff. So we have to be very clear. Number 3, unintuitive layout. So sometimes, again, because we're on, how many websites do you visit a day? Like I swear I do at least a dozen. And everything's the same. You always have your logo in the top left corner. You always have the contact in the top right. You usually have your menu on the very top. When that layout changes, it confuses people. And my marketing slogan is, if you confuse, you lose. People don't want to figure things out to give you their money. They want the answers in front of them. So be intuitive. Number 4, inconsistent branding. This is mismatched visuals, outdated logos, or off-tone messaging. It confuses the user, and again, it erodes trust. We lose that credibility. And number 5, disruptive pop-ups or autoplay. How many people have been scrolling and all of a sudden you're stuck in like a map and you can't get out? Or this pop-up doesn't ever go away. It's like they set it for every time you scroll like 3 inches. It's so frustrating. That kind of stuff, it matters to us. Again, we will exit. We will leave the website. On the other hand, here's the opposite. 5 things. Simple, clean design, clear navigation and structure, focused calls to action. So sometimes I'm on a site, yeah.
Sorry, I have a question about the bad experience. Do you ever come across, because some people have visual impairments, right, or
Yeah.
other impairments? Does that ever become an issue?
Yeah.
It
definitely
I know,
becomes
there's
an issue.
color blindness, right, for
Yeah.
example.
There's 2 things you need to be concerned about when it's, what's the word?
Accessibility?
Accessibility.
Yeah.
Number 1 is if you don't have strong contrast. So like, if I had text that was that blue on a white background, it's really hard to see. Now that doesn't help your user, and Google actually will like kind of take away points for search engine optimization, which we'll touch on later, because they want everyone to be able to read it clearly. So a lot of times that's what happens. Someone says, well, that's my brand color. It's like, well, if you insist, trust me, there's a lot of websites I've made and I've not put my name on because they have insisted. I'm like, alrighty. So that's not good. That's why if this slide is black and white and my later slides are black with white text. Yeah, you definitely need to consider accessibility. And again, just because you know the text, you know what it says, so it's more clear to you, What if you gave it to your friend who's never been on your website? Just be like, can you see what this is saying? That very much matters.
Do you have tools to like measure the readability?
There are tools, yeah.
You can use Lighthouse, it's built right into the browser. And it'll actually score contrast levels and let you know whether or
Okay.
not
What's Lighthouse?
it's built right into Chrome's
Into Chrome.
specifications.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
That's what it did.
Everything has tools. And you know what, in all honesty, some things are naturally intuitive. Like if you're really straining, then maybe your text is too small. You know what I mean? So just like, a lot of times common sense goes a long way, even when dealing with websites. Responsiveness across all devices. I think it's like 65% of people look at websites on their phone. So no longer do we need to be mobile ready. We need to be mobile first. Make your website with your cell phone in mind. Because I don't want to say this in front of a government worker or anything, but when people are at their desk and we're at work, they will go on different websites, but everyone else is using their phones. So website, like desktop visits go up during the 9 to 5 hours, and phones for everything else. So check that, keep that in mind. And fast and smooth interactions. I like a nice fade in. Too much is too much.
Sorry, what about, you know how they changed the websites now, so you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and stuff keeps coming up, and
Yeah.
do you prefer that?
No, so there's a balance between never-ending content and what you need. And so landing pages are kind of a different beast in a sense, because landing pages are specific to one like service. So like coaches have landing pages a lot of times. Hey, here's why you need my service. They'll have like a video being like, you're a woman, you're struggling with your faith, do this program with me. The problem I see on a lot of pages like that is they just go forever, and I'm like, I'm out. I got things to do. I just can't read all of this. But you also need the content for the person reading. You need the content for Google. Google reads every word of your website. Google needs to know what exactly you offer. So when someone says, I need a coach, you come up. So there's a balance. But yeah, for me, I'm not spending more than 2 minutes. No, 2 minutes is way too long. I'm not reading for 60 seconds. That's crazy talk. So consider that when you're doing your website. Like, I'll scroll 3 scrolls. That's my limit.
Okay, so you got a limit, that
Yes.
makes sense.
We all have limits and we all have to play
Because
with
some of
them.
them go on
Okay, that's
forever.
my life motto, borrowed from the lottery people.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was then looking, hey, what's a great website? And this website came up. I'll show you the actual website. It is called Brewmate. So this is a gorgeous website. Why? As soon as you're on here, I don't know what Brewmate is, but as soon as I was on the site, I'm like, oh, it's containers to drink from. Like, everyone loves those. The colors are beautiful. It's very clear. Although I only spent 1 minute on this website or less, I knew that if I wanted to buy, it's going to be over here. If I wanted to check out other things, it's over here. If I want the sale, because I don't want to spend $40 on a glass, that's my own thing, I go to sale. So when you scroll down, it's awesome. Here's one call to action, shop now. Not shop now and learn more and click here for more information. Contact us here. It's one call to action, very clear. Shop now. Then it goes through all the different categories, and look at these awesome people. Why do I love these pictures? Because they could have done these pictures. These pictures are not cool, but they show you exactly what they want. This, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I buy a $40 drinking thing, can I be fun and cool on the beach like these people? It's just branding shots. It makes you feel like, you know, I want to be a part of that. That looks fun. What's not fun about this guy? So that's what you're trying to do. I love, how do I say this nicely? Sometimes I work with people and I'll go on their website and then they will have the most beautiful restaurant or the most beautiful kitchen, but nobody's in it. And I'm like, that doesn't make me want to visit your bar. There's like nothing happening. I'm like, we need to have a good photographer come in and take some lifestyle shots. And then when I see people having fun, then I'm like, oh my gosh, like subconsciously, I'm like, I want to have fun too. I'm going to call my friends and we're going to go there Saturday night. So lifestyle fun shots is great. Again, you know, go down. Beautiful colors, beautiful layout, really easy to use. So I thought that was an example of a really good website. So how can you work this into your stuff? Lifestyle, if you're teaching people, have a picture of you in the front of the room and heads looking at you. It's way more of an authority builder than just a picture with you of a microphone saying, I swear I do talk to people. Or like empty airplanes or an airplane in the sky. A cool little contrast would be the pilot taking a selfie or whatever, or like a drone shot outside the plane with the pilot and the co-pilot in it. There's just ways to make people being like, oh, I want to be in that plane. That's really neat. How do I do this? I've always wanted to fly. So that's something to consider. So they have like a really strong, this is the first image on your site is called a hero image. They have a very strong hero image. All right, so your website needs to answer 3 questions. Every website must answer these 3 questions. Where am I? Can you help me? And what do I do next? Where am I is pretty simple. You think it's pretty simple, I should say. As soon as someone gets on your site, they should know exactly they are on your site. Every single website needs that logo in the corner, or your business name if you don't have a logo. And funny enough, and maybe now you'll actually notice this if you go on a website, a lot of websites don't. And that's against best practice. Best practice is in the top left of your website. You're looking at the website. This is your logo and your name, and if you click it, it brings you back home. So every website has to answer, where am I? Next is, can you help me? That's where the call to action comes in. That's where you talk to your clients. So I think a lot of times with marketing, we want to tell about us, like, hey, I do this, trust me, I'm the best. But really you're gonna say like, oh, hey, do you need to get rid of hair? I can help you. You're going to the beach on the weekend? Make Thursday your pit stop first. You're answering questions. Oh, instead of being like, I do all these cool spreadsheets, it's what you said. So I'm gonna help you so you can focus on what you do best. You work, and I'll do those spreadsheet stuff. So you're answering the question, how do you help me? Because that's what we all wanna know. Again, strangers are not on your website wanting to search, like, can they answer my problem? You lay it out immediately. And number 3, what do I do next? That's, again, where the call to action comes from. Every website should have a thing saying contact me, or buy now, or learn more, or click here for a free quote. What do I do next? You want them to know. If people have to search, they will bounce off and they will go to another website. The goal is to make the website extremely easy to navigate while answering those questions. And those questions need to be answered very quickly, very intuitively. We help you do this by creating a positive user experience. So here are some elements your website must have. Clear messaging. So, Mandy? Is that your name? Okay, when someone lands on your website, you might want to say like, breathe deep. Because we're all like this, holding our breath. So, and then it would be a clear messaging like, are you stressed? We offer breathing classes, we offer meditation, we offer yoga. And right away we're where we need to be. This is a very clear, your image is gonna be a clear, maybe someone like in the little pose or just taking a deep breath. It's gonna be clear. It's not gonna be like confusing people at a computer or something like that. Clear is, again, you keep in mind, what do you do and who do you serve? You're answering the 3 questions. How do you help me? What do I do next? Number 2, mobile-friendly design. We talked about how phones are very important. And again, that kind of goes into Sue's question of like, how much do you scroll on a phone, right? It's one thing to read a paragraph like this on a desktop. It's a whole other thing not to scroll through a whole story. Fast load time. So if you want to do a video, I love videos on websites. I love them for the hero image, the top image on your website. If you load it into your website, it's going to make your website slow. If you upload it to YouTube and then put the link in, you have no problem. So a lot of people have tons of videos because they're teaching or whatever, and it's just bogging down the site. And if people, do I have it here? If people bounce, if it takes more than 3 seconds for a page to load. And I'm one of those people. I saw it, like, and I'll leave for whatever reason. It just is the way it is. All right, easy navigation. We have to think about it like organized store aisles. Create the amount of pages that you need to create. Now, sometimes people want to save money, and I totally 100% get it. So they'll say, list all my services on one page. Do not create different pages for each service. And I'll be like, it's not best practice. Best practice is to have, like, if you're a plumber, to do like residential, commercial, and then break it down even further from there. So sometimes you kind of have to take the hit for the wallet to make sure your customers can navigate easily. Do not make people hunt for what they need. And then lastly, a strong call to action. We saw that on the Brewmate site. Shop now. You can't get any more strong than that. Call now. That's an easy thing. It's 2 words. We all understand that. Email, contact, whatever. What's the one action you want your user to take? I like the phone call because I don't have prices on my website because it just changes depending on who the people are and who the project, what the project's about. I want that phone call. The phone call is where I can make my sale. So I say, contact me. And when they email me, I say, let's set up a time to chit chat. I love that. Other people are like, nope, don't want to. Email me and I'll give you a free quote, fill in this form or whatever, and that's totally fine too.
Or you could say book here or.
Book here is a great one. Yeah, restaurants that have that reservation site, I love those places. They're the best. Okay, real world reviews. Do we have any volunteers? Anyone who wants to? What's your website?
A minute for mental health.ca.
Okay. Alrighty. Transform your mental health with the minute method.
Bearing in mind that I had a limited number of pictures.
Totally
put
got
in
it.
there and
Yeah,
they-
yeah. You know what? My first website wasn't beautiful. It's just, you gotta do what you gotta do. You have to have a presence online. And then as you grow, you kind of change things around, and that's totally fine. You got this, is what I was talking about. You got your left, you know exactly where you are, and if you click it, it brings you right back to the home page.
I like the top doesn't move when you scroll down. I
Yes.
love that.
So that's part of that navigation we were talking about. You want to make sure your navigation is always sticky, it's called. So your page changes, but your navigation menu always stays the same. The only thing I would do is the get in touch usually is the last thing on the menu item.
And you see her shop wellness tools, is that clear enough where she's got that?
Yeah, so I don't know what wellness tools like as someone who someone didn't say, hey, you got to go to this website, you need help in this area, which probably they think, but they don't. They keep it to themselves. So for me, landing on your site, it's a little under. So if you move this up a bit, then I don't have to scroll. So ideally, people don't scroll; they just know exactly what you do. Of course, everyone does scroll, so that's like not the worst thing. And then transform your mental wellness 1 minute at a time with evidence-based tools based on. Yep, good. It's clear. Are these the blogs?
No, that's just like a summary of services offered.
Okay.
Should probably change it around a little bit.
Yeah, you might want to. And sometimes what I do, I'll show you on our chamber site.
Christine, what about your site? It shows
I don't want you guys critiquing my site. Okay, so I have the same.
Did you do this page? You did the chamber?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I did it because I hated our other site and it wasn't intuitive, it wasn't clear, and everyone thought I built it. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna build this bad boy. Okay, so you know how these usually would say what they are? Oh, you know what, it does, but it's just there's a little too much space.
Okay.
So, wait, there is an area.
Bet you built a lot of websites, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, so the other thing about that, this could click to another page instead of being just an image. So if you're talking about digital course, like I want to click on it, but where do I go? So if I wanted journaling prompts, where do I go? So if you look at this page, it's like, oh, I click here for current news. Boom, it brings you to the news page.
That's when you yelled at us for having it, so.
I still hate it, but
I know.
I'll submit to that, whatever. If you want to look the May Chamber chatter, you can click to it. So that's what I would change. I would
So
move this.
people would be expecting to be able to click on that and have something happen.
Yeah, exactly. So, or else I'm like, what's the random pictures? I would also, on the back end of your website, you can squish some of the F
Yellow in the
spacing.
middle.
So I would just do that. So people didn't do what I just did. Like, what is this for? So, oh, I know what site it was.
Could you put the yellow one in the middle, or does it have to go in that order?
I would do what
You
she
can do
wants,
whatever you
it
want.
doesn't necessarily matter. Okay, so I just took the extra time. So I was originally gonna put just pictures of like piano and someone playing the trombone or whatever, but then I was like, is it intuitive for the user who's not really sure? And okay, piano and trombone, pretty easy, but when it came to theory or virtual lessons, I was like, you know what, I better take this out. It took an extra like 20 minutes. I took the picture, added the text on it, because you can't do that on the website. That's something you're gonna have to do off the website. And then brought the picture into the website. Just so it was clear that it's like, oh, that's piano. Oh, you know what I mean? So especially when it's not a super clear thing like this, picture doesn't necessarily tell the users anything. But if you put right on it, digital tools, then I would be like, then the light bulb makes sense because obviously it represents an idea, yes.
You could make the image a background image and put the text over top, and then when you hover, darken the back like you did on the other
Okay, yeah.
one. So, and then that way, it kind of helps it pop.
Yeah. And a lot of times when you see these kind of things, that's not necessarily a page break. You want it to be clickable. It's just how they have trained us. So that's awesome. A lot of times with the footer, every website should have their contact information in the footer, because a lot of times I don't go to contact page. I just scroll right down when I need to make a phone call. So that's just something a lot of websites do.
Why is the flag down there? Is that just because they're gay
Probably
pride
like
friendly?
friendly to,
Yeah, accessible to everyone.
yeah. So, yeah, otherwise, you know what, pretty clear. An about page is really nice. People are uncomfortable, but the thing is, and this is also why I said it at the beginning of the class, or about me, people want to know that you're the expert in what you do. So by saying, hey, here I am, and here's my schooling, and here's where I work, and here's the proof in the pudding why you should trust me. About pages are very important. Don't skip on that for two reasons. Again, one, for Google to understand what you do, and two, it just makes me feel a little more safer. And there's certain people, Tanvi being a lawyer, we want to make sure you know what you're talking about. So that about and like bragging about yourself is probably a little uncomfortable. Maybe not for lawyers, I don't know. But for like other people.
law school too, so I have like all my schooling history and everything.
Exactly,
too.
yeah, because then I'm like, okay, this girl can get it done, I trust her. So it's okay to have the about and to be like, hey, I've been doing this for 15 years, yeah, trust me. It builds that authority and it builds that natural trust. All right, any other one? That was good though, honestly. It's just, it's always little things, but these little things could make a difference. Bev?
I don't know, I'm just curious, because like if I'm seeing like, can't think of something off the top of my head, but say like somebody's got recipes or something like
Yeah.
that. Like I always like to go to the about you just to see like, are they Canadian, are they American, are they Australian or
Yeah.
whatever. But
I
I
guess
find
that's something to lean into right
yeah,
now,
I
isn't
find
it?
there's so many that don't do that. Like is that something you should be doing to at
So-
least say the country?
Yeah, I don't mind the country, like I said. So I deal mainly with local businesses. But I do have some like international clients that don't necessarily want to talk about themselves specifically because it's more about the brand. So if you think about the BrewMate cup thing, we don't care about the founder. That doesn't matter to us. So it really, you have to make that call personally. It doesn't matter. For someone I'm talking about mental health, yeah, I probably want a local person because I want to walk in and like see them face to face. Obviously, a flight school would fall under the same category. Any service, a thrift store, I don't want to go to BC, I want to go to Paris. So you just kind of have to make that call
So
yourself.
it depends on more so whether it is an actual online business. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter as opposed to.
So what I tell all the trades, because they're the ones that are like really most likely to not have an about page because they're like, who cares? And I'm like, I'll tell you who cares. Me, as a woman who has to let strange men into my house when I have little kids around. That's who cares about, hey, this matches his face, especially when they're not branded with their shirts or with the trucks. You're just trusting someone who says, hi. And I'm like, oh, are you the plumber? Yeah, sure, man, I'm the plumber. So I'm like, you don't know. Like, you just don't know. So, like, building trust is always a good thing. So, all right.
Those guys should put like pictures of their family and, you know, makes them seem like we're trustworthy.
Alrighty.
That's me.
Okay. So good. There you
That's my
go.
online booking site, not my website.
Oh, that's the booking? Okay, hold on.
Which now, with my online booking, I find that I'm sending people to my online booking and not sending them to my website, and then because you can get to my booking from here.
Yeah.
But I should have sent them here first so that Google sees this more than my website, than my booking site, correct?
You know what? The thing is, once someone books with you once, that's the address that's going to come up when they search.
Okay.
So today, what was I doing? Oh, I go to Still Dynamics for like osteo. So when I put it in my URL, it brought me right to the Jane app. Perfect. I want to save time. One click. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
So,
so it's
I think it's okay.
Okay,
I think it's okay.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm number one on Google now, I think.
Yeah.
I think for most waxing things.
And
I
you know what
saw
the
the
thing
names,
is,
I didn't
I'll
use- I
say
didn't know
another
how to do
thing. A lot of times, and this is changing a little bit with SEO and with like kind of Brantford, Brant County becoming a bigger community. We have out of town people coming in to compete with our local business. If you invest in your SEO and website, Google sees that, and because other people in your space might not be, you will be in number one. So like I think historically, aesthetics don't pour a lot of money into online. Like they'll do their website and then they just leave it.
I did.
If you actually change things up, if you're adding content, if you're doing SEO work, you will beat them
I
naturally.
want to. I mean, my prices need to be updated, and even still, like I just need to learn how to do it.
Yeah,
Somebody else designed it for me, and then they kind of quit, which I told you before. But they kind of quit halfway through, so I was like, I got a great website, but I don't know how to navigate it. So
yeah, and that happens sometimes. Okay, so right away, enhance your natural beauty without spending a fortune. That doesn't speak to me necessarily, and it definitely doesn't speak to Google, which again we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
So just be really, so a thing that everybody
I agree.
does, they just want to be flowery, especially women. Like they're not straightforward. It's just like enhance your natural beauty, and we all want that. But what I really want is like, what is
waxing.
this?
Yeah.
I wax.
Yeah. No, when I did this, I did all aesthetics, and now I just focus more on waxing. So,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So that was.
So I would change that. Like the
Okay.
picture leads me to know it's about skin
Yeah.
and like facial
Yeah, yeah.
stuff.
I'd
But
still change the picture too, because it's just not really waxing.
yeah, just make it really, really choice. Sorry, really, really in your face. I read
Right,
choice
right.
here and then I said that. Okay, coming soon in Academy. Register, that's a good thing.
And it just goes to my email.
Yeah. So I think if I was you, right here, I would say book now,
Okay.
and then go right to, that would link to your Jane, or not your Jane app,
It is-
what's the app called?
The online booking system. Like
Yeah.
Booking, yeah. Okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It does say book down in the top right corner, but you just want it kind of in your face, right?
That is good, and keep that there, but
Okay. And
when
then what?
people scroll down, like your menu isn't sticky.
Yeah, I know.
So
I like the
then-
sticky menu.
Yeah, so no big deal, but then it's like if I scroll down, here's the call to action. I'm not like, oh, what do I do now?
Thank you.
So
And should she specify book your waxing, like if that's what you
if she's
focus on?
solely doing waxing, but it sounds like she's growing,
Yes.
so I would just say book now. And then when I do click book now, it's all your options. Nice. Beauty. Yeah, like nice and obvious. So, does that bring you to a page? Yep. Good. Good one. Testimonials are really important because it's one thing again for you to be like Brantford's number one, but when other people are saying it speaks a little more. I think you know how you have the Google rating right here. I would also put it right here
Okay.
with like stars, and then people will know, oh, this is the testimony part.
You could even link to your review page too.
Oh yeah. I got one of those little card things that you just.
Yeah,
Tap
a
it.
nice map, nice, clear.
Can you click on that? Get directions? I've never tried.
Yeah,
it. Okay.
it's
Cool.
clickable.
Cool. I've never tried it. Cool.
Learn.
Learn my own website. Here we go. It's nice to see it on the
I
screen.
know. Okay. Yeah, honestly, it's pretty clear. So I would move that to the end, and I don't
Contact us?
like more. So how can you put these under somewhere else? So
Product.
so customer testimonials, I wouldn't make as a specific page.
Okay.
I would have a page on the menu. Sorry,
But
I would have
merchandise?
it here. For more, click here, and then that will, or read more reviews, and that brings you to the customer page. But I wouldn't use menu space for that.
So would I even put it like a merchandise? Mostly it was for COVID. That's why it was up there because I just needed to make money. So
Yeah.
that's why. Sure
So I would do about,
Okay.
and then I would put mission under about.
Okay.
I would have a product page, and eyebrow services would go under.
Oh yeah. I don't know why that's not in there. Should go under services.
Yeah,
The products, things you buy. Like
yeah,
you-
products and service would be different. So I think I would just call that services,
Yeah.
and then have an eyebrow service as a different
Right.
page.
Yeah, it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
right.
About,
Looks
so
like I
that'd
just
be
do eyebrow waxing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Get rid of more?
8, 9. So if we moved 1, 2, 2 more spaces, I would probably take out home.
Cause my logo's the home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It's merchandise. Is that products?
Merch.
Okay, so I would do products and then have a little
Subtitle?
sub menu
Okay.
for merchandise. Certifications would go under about, and customer form to be fulfilled. I like that right away, so you know exactly. I like when it's like clear because we all have to fill that stuff in.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it's just like making the menu a little more clear because right now it's just a lot. And
So how many do you suggest having up there altogether?
as many as can fit, which looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't want people to
Get
have
rid
to
of
click
more,
on more.
get rid of eyebrow services, just put services.
Yeah.
And put, merch under products,
Yeah.
under its own category, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank
And
you.
then again, move the contact us to
To
the
the end.
last because that's just what we're used to. And your contact information is, oh. Okay, so the reason why footers are great is because they stay with every page. So you set up this as a section on your website, but this could actually be moved to your footer. So then when I'm on like, oh, you know what, I am gonna do an eyebrow service. I'm not like, oh, where is she? How do I call?
Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah, so
So
it's just
it'll
set
be
up
on
a
every page
little-
if it's a footer.
Pardon?
It'll be on every page if it's a footer.
Yes, your footer stays, and your header should be sticky. Yeah.
Header.
So
And there's an option when I go on the back link, the back thing to just put, leave it permanently there, stuck
yeah,
there,
there
sticky?
should be on Square. There should be. You know, yeah, you'll have to play around with it.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, I don't really use Square personally, but there should be a way you could essentially copy paste this to right
Okay.
here.
Cool.
So.
Is there a reason you don't use Square, and what's your preference?
I don't use Square. It's just not my favorite. I think it's not as user friendly as it pretends to be.
What do you use?
So, I use WordPress, which is my favorite, or Wix for people who need more accessible websites.
What's the most user-friendly website?
Wix,
Wix.
personally, I believe. Square would be similar to that, but I just don't like Square. Like every time I've been on it, I'm like, man, I hate this. I don't know if it's
Right.
not user friendly or what.
Yeah.
And then I stopped using it.
And they both probably cost the same, I'm guessing.
I'm sure they're the same.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, let me go on, and there will be a chance for more real world stuff. Any questions so far?
Oh, that was real well.
Okay.
Question. So going back to when you said that the website should load faster,
Mhm.
sometimes people connect their socials to the website.
Yeah.
Does it make it slower?
No.
Okay.
So anything that is a link out, all the weight is on the link out. Like it's Facebook's gonna carry that weight.
Okay.
If you're adding 1 billion pictures to your website, that's when it gets slow because your website has to be like, okay, we're loading this picture and this picture and this gallery and this gallery. That's why it's kind of like choose wisely.
what do
You'll
you-
know when it gets slow because it's pretty obvious.
So instead of putting up all the pictures, would you put like a link to where to go see?
No,
the
I would
pictures?
still do pictures.
Okay.
So, but if I'm just saying, like, if every page you have a ton of pictures and a ton of videos, that's what's going to slow you down.
So you can lazy load the images depending on the tool that you're using.
Yeah.
So it won't load the image until you're pretty much at that
Okay.
scroll section.
And there's an option on that to lazy load?
I don't know
It-
about all the builders.
It depends on the tools you're using to build.
Okay.
Yeah. So some things are better than others. I like WordPress because it keeps that in mind, and it kind of, I feel like when I build on WordPress, it keeps SEO in mind and that kind of user stuff. When it comes to the like Squares and Wix, I'd have to look.
So ChatGPT will know all that to be able to help us navigate it as well, right?
Yep. And honestly, it's not too often that websites are really, really slow. It's usually the ones that have video specifically. So, and that's why I say use YouTube. Okay, so let's talk about SEO because a beautiful storefront doesn't matter if nobody walks by it. All right, so SEO, oh yeah, my little tagline, being invisible is a great superpower, a horrible marketing strategy, and I feel like a lot of people wait way too long to start investing in SEO. So search engine optimization is SEO, and it's how people find you. So this is the gist of it. I don't want to go into the nerdy stuff, but I personally love it. A searcher asks Google a question. So who used Google today? Everybody? Okay, what did you ask? Okay, anybody off the top of your head?
Restaurants in Windsor.
Okay, restaurants in Windsor, perfect. Google, in like not even half a second, answers the question because it literally crawls all of the pages, and then it's like, Burger King says it's in Windsor, and it has the Windsor map. And there's a beer town in Windsor, and it also talks about Beer Town Windsor, and it has a Windsor phone number and a Windsor address. So I know, and like it crawls all these websites and gives it to us as soon as we ask. It's amazing. I love it. So we, when we're building our websites, are building so Google will serve us up because we want to be on page 1. So you have to optimize your website to improve your visibility and organic, so non-paid search rankings on search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo. I talk about Google only because like 96% of people use Google. Other people use these, but
Americans use Yahoo a lot, I think.
yeah. If you use the other ones, the work you do for SEO works across the board. To me, a search engine and Google are interchangeable, so work with me with that. The goal is to get found, simple. Okay, the importance of SEO. 68% of online experiences start with a search engine. And that's pretty true of how I use my computer and the internet. Less than 1% of people click to the second page. So think about the last time, who went to the second page today with your search? Nobody. Because we are a society that wants it quick and we want it now.
Why do we need a second page?
Well, and don't you think also that people assume that if you're showing up on that first page, it's because, you're doing a better job than.
If they think about it, yeah. Like to me, I want to be with the people who are investing in their business because that means they're making money in their business, which means they're doing a really good job because people keep paying them. But I also know people don't think like that. So, we just don't go to page 2. We just don't, for whatever reason. We probably call the first 5 or the first 3. 53% of all web traffic comes from search. So that means you need to actively invest in SEO. Unless you're like the only business around, you need to be investing in SEO because people do not know your name. So we're living in now an area where people are moving in like crazy. We moved from the front porch to the backyard. We just aren't as friendly with our neighbors as we were.
But sometimes I find like the vocabulary just alters the search results. Like you could type in a simple word, like even a product, and it could bring up. It could be slang. It could be totally something unrelated. You know.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna talk about keywords soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say SEO and like people investing in their business, like when you Google something and it said sponsored ad at the top, is that what you're talking about?
No,
Like
so sponsored ads are literally you're paying Google. If someone types in this keyword, put me at the top. I do not personally do sponsored ads. I think I did them one time. 60% of people scroll right on by them.
Yeah.
So I think it's a waste of money. And sometimes I think nowadays that we have AI and stuff, this is my own opinion, I have no proof. I think Google sometimes pretends to serve a little more than they actually do based on like call volume and stuff. And I don't like it. I personally rather take that money and put it into SEO where it's going to build my business organically and people just trust organic a little more.
How's that 53% changing now that ChatGPT gives the answers right on?
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
I'm sure it is changing. I should actually
Google's doing
redo
it
that.
now.
But that's why Google reacted with their own version of AI.
They have it on
But
top.
that's also just keeping people on the search page and not even visiting the website.
Yeah.
So Google doesn't promise to bring people to your website. It's not your salesman. It promises to answer the question the searcher searched. Google is for the searcher, not for us. We need to do the work so Google likes us. So we have to keep that in mind.
So I guess the advantage to the good website is that when you search the term and Google gives the answer, it also includes that book now button automatically, so you're still getting a sale, even though they're not visiting the website.
And the thing is too, I noticed, I was so happy the other day, I should have put it on here because it was like such a proud moment. When Google created that little blurb for AI, and I've been working with this store called Piestrella Flooring, and then it said something about like vinyl flooring, and it was like, vinyl flooring is flooring made of vinyl. You can go to Piestrella Floor for this. And I was like, that's why they've been investing. AI is coming along. It's not going to undo the work you've done for SEO. It's going to build on the work you've done for SEO.
have a question. So when you type in, say when you type in Brazilian princess, and there's that little blurb there that says about it, can you put a book now button right there? Like so you can just see the book, like you don't even have to go into the website, you can just click book now?
Yeah, you should be able to do that under Google My Business.
Okay. Like when you just go from Google, there could be a little blurb that comes up.
You have to use very specific coding.
I don't think I have a book now button though.
So you come up and this part, which is great.
Yeah.
And then
No.
There are some results.
Yeah,
where
those are
you'll
like
see
book
the name.
now, right there on that page. Is there a way to do that?
yeah, so on here, I bet there is a way to do that.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there is a way to do that. I've seen that before. Yeah. So you'd have to go to your Google
Instead of
business
call,
page.
this is
Oh, because of the
Do
call.
that.
Okay, cool.
like a call to action button.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I changed that on my website. Yeah. Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so
No,
with
change
the
it under
moving to
Google
the back
Business
instead of hanging out on the porch, and now that we go to self-checkouts instead of, talking to people, God forbid, we are not having natural conversations like, oh my gosh, the fence blew down with that crazy storm. Who are you using for your friend? We're going to the computer or our phones. Fence builder, Brantford, or whatever you would call it. So I would say fence builder. That is not accurate. So maybe you want a fencing contractor. Maybe you want a fence and deck guy. All those keywords matter to Google. Okay, so essentially this is what I said. Crawlers crawl every single website looking for keywords, links, pictures. All gets stored in a big database. When we type something into the search engine, it looks through, pulls it up, and then it gives us results based on what it thinks are the most relevant sites. Relevant is the keyword here. Because you could be, what site was I on? So I was working with a caterer once. She's talking, she wanted a website and she wanted social media. So I'm like, okay, we can totally do that. And she kept talking about her lunches. I'm creating lunches. I'm creating lunches. I'm like, okay, lunches are important. So all of a sudden, all my content, lunch. After a couple of weeks, she's like, why are you talking about my lunches? I make like $7 from that. My wedding catering will bring me 30,000. And I was like, oh, well, all you told me about was your lunch. So I assumed I'm building content for lunch. Same with Google. If you on your website are talking about only Brazilian waxing, don't be surprised if someone's like, yo, do you do eyebrows as well?
Yeah.
Or, oh, do you also do like facials? Because Google's gonna serve up what they think you're offering. So are you being found for your product, service, or keyword? If someone types into Google Purple Bean Media, I better be the first person to come up. That's a weird name and I chose it on purpose. But what about people who don't know me? Right? People who know me, hopefully they call me and use my business. I know I'm only known to like 10% of the business people. So I want them to type in like web builder or social media manager, and I want to come up for those keywords. So that's what you guys got to think of too. 100% your friends should be using you, but Tammy, for your lawyer stuff, it's like real estate lawyer Brantford or real estate lawyer Paris. You want to pop up for that.
And that's where your Google reviews come in, right?
Google reviews are really important. We'll touch on that. Okay, so keyword research is very important. So Tammy, I might say I need a real estate lawyer. What are other keywords people might type in?
Was an estate lawyer, near me, I don't know.
Yeah. So we came up with 3 terms for her thing. If I did some keyword research, I'd probably come up with like 10 ways people will be searching for that. Even for myself, I say social media manager, that's just what I say. Other people say other things. So I had to do some research to say, okay, how are people looking? What are people doing? And what are they typing in to get to my page? I want them to come to me. So I try on my site to not just talk about the keywords I know that I use, but that other regular people might be working. Because again, we know our business very well, so we probably know all the technical names for things. But how do we feel like people talk?
And how do you research that? There's a way to do it. Somebody told us in one of our
ChatGPT.
prior seminars.
Yeah, hold on. There are keyword tools. So these are free. Google Keyword Planner, Uber Suggest. And you know what? I'll give you a free little hint right now.
We're gonna show those again, right, for everybody?
Yeah.
I know, I'll take that.
Okay, I'll say plumber, Paris. So you have these things, you have these things, you have these things, and then what do you have here?
People also know.
This is literally what people are typing around us. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is good information because Google didn't grab that out of nowhere. It's like, oh, you know what people also actually wonder when they do that? They want to know what plumbers charge. How do you quote a plumber? What's the best way to hire a plumber? So these are questions people are actually asking. For social media, do a video about that, a video about that, a video about that, a video about that. It's just easy content.
And then in terms of keywords, what would you put in to capture?
There you go.
So here's the keywords. People also are searching for a 24-hour plumber.
Right.
I would not have searched that right now. At midnight, when my thing is like blowing up and flooding my basement, probably emergency plumber is what I'm going to be, oh, there you go, emergency plumber. Plumber, Paris, prices, cheap plumber. You might not want to put that on your website, but maybe you do, I don't know. Best plumber, plumbers near me, Chasel's Plumbing, I don't know who that is. So this is just an easy way for you to do your own research.
It's
So
probably good that they're down there, that Chasel's Plumbing. That's really good that they made it on that search engine, right?
yeah,
That's pretty
so
cool.
let's say graphic design.
Uh-oh.
This is for you, Lindsay. Oh, here's your AI overview. So what does it do? Okay, you know what, I'm gonna type in Paris. Oops. Is France good? Oh, no. So this must not really go. It must not be a search engine search that people do here.
Well, you gotta-
Best graphic design Paris, jobs, graphic design Paris online, freelance. So maybe you want to add freelance to your stuff, right? You just, who knows?
Yeah, Lindsay, you might want to do that because that's what you're doing.
Yeah, Google knows best because Google's a massive database. So scroll to the bottom and check these out and be like, you know what? I'm gonna add best graphic design on my website. I'm gonna add freelance on my website.
What if you bought other domains, like different domains, just like Best Wax and Brantford, or
So you can, but then you're gonna be competing with yourself. So, but you can do that. If I were to start all over again, so I was talking to some guy, he's like, oh, I want to do SEO work with you. I'm like, okay, perfect, great. What's your business name? And I can't remember, he was a personal trainer. So I'm like, what's your website? Personal Trainer Brantford. I'm like, are you joking me? You don't need me? You're gonna come up number one every single time because the URL is exactly what he does, exactly who he's targeting. I thought it was genius, I loved it. I was like, dang, I should have done that.
And yet it's so simple.
It's just so simple, and it's, again, with the relevancy, Google's like, oh, you want him, just like if you typed in Purple Bee Media, it's gonna serve me up immediately. It's like, oh, you want this guy. And then it served him up number one every single time. I was like, you don't need me, trust
does
me.
the alphabet matter anymore, like starting with an A?
Alphabet does not
Only the phone
matter.
It's only the phone
I
book.
shouldn't say alphabet doesn't matter. Last week something happened, and I was like, oh, this reminds me of the Yellow Pages, but I can't remember what it was, and I was like, dang, I wish I had a higher letter.
That's why I went for Zoe, because there's a B at the second letter of the alphabet.
Yeah, perfect. And it says what
And-
you
and yeah,
do,
that's
basically. Okay, so your keywords, you want to rank high, you want to be common, so think about that. Make sure it aligns with your website content, so create a page. Like, again, if I was a plumber, I would have one page dedicated just to emergency services, if you offer that.
Can you go back to that other page so we can just take a picture of it? The other page was, yeah, that one. Thanks.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so paid, Ahrefs, SEMrush, and Moz Keyword Explorer. I'll be honest, this is not as intuitive as these. But personally, I just like the Google page thing. It's free, it's right in your face, and the data is specifically there.
So you just go into Google and type in keyword planner?
Yeah.
Go.
Do you need an analytics account for it though?
Probably. I don't know, because we already have one, so I just like,
It's just second.
yeah. Google wants your information, so I'm sure it does need an
So
account.
the sign up
Alright,
for
so do the research because we don't know how people are searching. Again, I start even plumber, like how, that's not even a complicated business. As soon as you say plumber, we all know exactly what it means. And yet, Google showed us there are many ways to find it, to Google it. Again, like the emergency, I would have never personally done that, but other people are. So make sure that's part of doing the research. So I work with Advantage Vinyl, and this is my report that I give them. It's not graphically pleasing, but it is what it is. Okay, so when I talk to them, and I don't know about, he said, hi, my name's Tim, and I'm like, oh, what do you do, Tim? He's like, I'm a rapper. I'm like, you sound a little old and white to be a rapper, tell me more. And then he was like, no, I rap trucks. And I said, okay, I understand, my mistake. Anyway, so we talked about what he wanted. He wanted some words that I'm like, dude, only you're looking that up, or other people in your industry. You want normal words that people are gonna truck advertising wrap. He actually didn't want that word necessarily, but I was like, it's what Google's telling us people are looking up. Vehicle lettering, not my favorite word. Yeah. Okay, fleet graphics. So anyway, this is that, and this is where it is. A in the map, and he's on page 1, which is really important to him. So we chose these 9 words because Google was like, this is what people are searching for. You gotta be on it. So it's just something simple like that. The words, I wish I had the words he wanted, anyway, they're not there. But it's just like, all of these things, this is the same as this is the same as that, the same. But there's 4 different ways people are searching for it. And then also, Google will understand, like if someone just puts truck advertising or truck wrap, it's still gonna pull that information out. Anyway, so that's just like, shows you kind of that kind of stuff.
So do you have multiple pages for each, or do you?
Yeah.
Or marketing pages, or?
Mm-hmm. For each keyword, I personally have, so my keywords, well I should say for each keywords. For myself, I have a social media page. I have a web design page. I have a page dedicated to SEO for 2 reasons. One, when we're looking at things, do you want to read through something to see if I can help you? Or do you want to just be able to click on it? For Google, it's like, whoa, you have a page dedicated just to this one service? That's a lot of information. And then it tells Google, hey, this is exactly what she's offering. So that's why I like every service has a page. That's my preference. Okay, so on-page optimization is just like something that when we do the work you see, and then there's something called off-page optimization, which you'll never see, you just have to trust we're doing the work. So, social media, service and web design, that's my keyword. When someone puts in social media management, social media marketer, social media content person, I want my keywords here. Now, every single website has, think about a magazine, like if you're thinking about People magazine and it has Angelina Jolie on it, usually it's a picture of Angelina Jolie and her name very big, Angelina Jolie. And then it'll be like recipes for abs in summer, smaller. And then interview with so-and-so, maybe a little bit bigger. The bigger the text, the more important it is, the more of a selling feature it is. Same with online. Your H1, which is your number 1 heading essentially, is very important. A common mistake people do is put their own name really, really big. Purple Bean Media. But it's like, okay, they know, because your logo's there, relax. What you want is your keyword there, because Google is like, whoa, the most weight goes to H1. You used your H1 to talk about this is important. Your H2s are a little important, a little less important, and then it goes down from there, like your paragraphs are less important than your headers. Don't be poetic and dreamy, be practical, so we kind of saw that on Heather's site. Just be brutally honest. What's your service? Boom. Make it very clear for the person on the site. More importantly, I would argue for Google. Use various keywords and phrases throughout your site. So I talk about, like I said, I don't just say social media management, I'll say social media manager, or whatever my keywords are. Label your photos. Photos have a ton of information that Google reads. So if you have your phone, and I have my location services on, and I take a picture here, like, hey, you speaking tonight? And put it on my blog saying, I spoke about SEO and web design. What happens is Google's like, oh, the location was in Paris. Then when I'm making my website and instead of uploading image 001, I upload Paris SEO talk or web design Paris. Because then Google's like, Paris, that's your location, that's grounding the area, what the topic was, oh, that works because her keywords line up with that. So take time. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but you really only, it's not the worst. It's a pain, but it's really beneficial. Label your photos. Take the time to do that. And if you already have a website with a bunch of photos, go back and label them.
Yeah, adding alt tags is also great for accessibility for people that are visually impaired, or yeah, it'll actually be able to, the screen readers can actually read the text of the descriptions of what the images are.
How do you do that?
It's a general.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so when you go to your image uploader, you'll see all that.
Yeah.
You can fill
So
that in.
always fill out your alt tag.
Instagram does that too. It's not as important. Add local references because we're all pretty much local and our services are local. Put your city in, like I would even say like Brantford's best plumber. Like, just call yourself the best, it's fine. But you put the city and your location in. I actually had that for a while, but now because I'm trying to get out in other cities, I removed it. But for a while it was Brantford Social Media and Web Design Company. So think about how you could do that for yourself. Okay, so Google My Business, we kind of talked about that. Local SEO matters. Here's a networking group we tried to rank because they were invisible. And we did that by creating a Google My Business profile and doing all that kind of stuff. But anyway, you'll see like Brantford in the meta description, so it says Brant, but we wanted to make it very clear for the users and for Google. Brant Business Builders, Brantford's longest running professional networking group. That sentence is exactly what Brant Business Builders does. It is not fancy, it's just literally, when you read it, you know what it says. Okay, Google My Business. So does everyone have a Google My Business account, or yeah, okay. It's where you can put all your information. So if someone Googles My Business, on the right side, you're gonna see this. You're gonna see reviews, my address, my phone number, whatever. It's really important to have name, address, phone number, not consistency. If my address, that says, can you see that from there? It's like really blurry, but I don't know if it's because I'm up close.
That's me.
No, okay, so that's just the address. It's 8/65 York Street, Sydney, NSW. So York Street is ST, not STREET. So when you're filling out directories, when you're on your website, if you whatever you have for your Google profile, put in your website on your footer. Make it match.
What do people do that work out of a home office that don't want to put their actual physical address? You got any recommendations for that?
Yeah, you put your city.
Just put the city.
Yeah. I have some people who work from home. Obviously, like when I first started, I worked from home for like a couple months, and I didn't want obviously my stuff online.
I had it, you can get a free flex delivery address as well, this has a PO box that is.
Yep. Yeah, you can do PO boxes, you can rent, and stuff like that, and you can go to the various cities.
But you should at least get your city, get your town in there so people know where you're located basically for the service area.
And the other thing is Google will ask you for your address and they just won't show it. So you're still putting the location in there.
Oh, so you give them your actual physical address, but they won't put it on the.
Yes, like you say, do not show.
Gotcha.
It's just there because. So yeah, keep the format. If you're like on North and you just use an N, only use an N. Don't ever write out North. For your phone number, if you're doing brackets, like my phone number is 226 brackets 920-9850. I'm not doing 920 space dash space.
Why is that?
Because Google needs it to be exactly the same across the platforms. That's how it reads so quickly. And there's other reasons, but just basically, that's why. They just want to match.
Sorry, so you're saying one don't put brackets and the other one
Yes.
don't put, okay.
Whatever you signed up your Google, this is how you're doing it for now on.
So consistency really matters.
It does, yeah.
I don't know, website on that.
Okay, localized content. This is gold. There's so many times I'm on a website and I know they're from here because I met them like at a chamber event or something. But then they don't talk necessarily about on their website about the city. Well, then Google isn't like, hey, someone from Brantford Googled your keyword, you therefore are the answer. Because it's like you didn't ground yourself. So make sure you put your location throughout your website. Heather, you had your map. That's a perfect way to locate yourself. Location specific keywords. So I say Brantford, Brant County, County of Brant, Paris, St. George, whatever. I'll like name
Well, you
things.
probably should
I'm
put
trying
Brant County too, because a lot of people
I actually
search it.
do both because a lot of people search Brant County.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get into Cambridge, so I created a city page just for Cambridge. City pages, if you're like, okay, I want to service more, this is like a little hack that I do. I was like purplebeanmedia.com/Cambridge, and I'm like, Cambridge, Ontario. Hey, Cambridge, are you looking for search engine optimization? I talk about SEO with Cambridge. Then at the bottom, a Cambridge map and a little blurb about the city of Cambridge because I want to kind of head into that.
So, Sherri, in that case, would you also do Galt, Preston, Hesper?
No, because I don't want to build that many pages.
Okay.
So, but I do talk about Galt, Preston, in my blurb.
Okay, because there are people that'll still search it that way, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what if, or it might be, because I've been online and I've been global pretty much this
Yeah.
whole time, and I'm now becoming more local to go in person. 'Cause
Okay.
cause I'm not planning on going to Germany to
Yeah,
Germany
yeah.
right now, right? But I mean, that is where I've been for the last 5 years and going local, so how do I maneuver that? Because I'm still available to do online anywhere,
Yeah.
obviously. But I don't want somebody to say, hey, can you come next weekend to Australia?
Really? I'd be down.
No,
Yes,
if
sir.
you're paying for it,
Tell
if
me
you're
when.
paying
Let's
for it,
go.
I'm there, right? But I just,
Oh, you know what? Okay, so this is what we did with Kitchen Sink. They're located in Brantford, but they're like, we want to get into Burlington, we want to get into Dundas. So what we did was we just created certain location pages, Ancaster, and it's essentially a landing page. Kitchen Sink, da 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 da. But Ancaster, Ontario is a beautiful, charming little town, and whatever, and Ancaster information. So if you're like, hey, I want to be in Brantford, Brant County, Cambridge, and like Norfolk, then you're just creating content around that. So the content can be the city pages, like I said, blogs. You can be like, hey, 5 best coaches in Brantford. Add yourself as one of them. Or like,
Home of Wayne Gretzky.
talk about, pardon me?
The home of Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, you can talk about Brantford in and of itself, or you can specifically highlight a client you've worked with from Brantford. So you're just like, you're putting yourself in there. Customer testimonials, when people leave reviews, tell them to say Brantford. So, okay, speaking of reviews, it's a bigger deal than any of us realize.
Sure.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Sorry, I just had another question about the last
Quick,
page.
Will.
So, most of my products are like e-courses, digital downloads. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily have a physical location
Yeah.
to go to unless people want therapy services. How do I
Work that out.
navigate
Thank you.
that? Yeah.
So that's a lot harder because Google, when was it? It might have been 2018, 19. They all of a sudden started a big push for local because all these big pizza chains were able to get on page 1 and we're like, yeah, what about us, small town, whatever. So they're like, we're gonna put a huge emphasis on local. So you're gonna have kind of a harder time ranking for more broad keywords, but you're gonna be, forget about the location, you're gonna be specifically targeting the keywords. So like, put the location aside. Or you can say like, okay, let's think. Brantford has 100,000 people, Toronto has 1 million, I'm gonna do a Toronto page,
Okay.
right? So then it's like just your odds are in your favor. So, but searching from Brantford or Paris it just will do better, but yeah.
What about the whole Paris, France versus Paris, Ontario?
Oh, yes, that is a thing.
Because that's why when you did the search for, what was it, the plumber in Paris?
Yeah,
You ended up
so
getting
you can
like
say
3
Paris,
results.
Ontario, but again, if you are specifying, if you're labeling your pictures, if your pictures have that geotag, hopefully it picks it up. Okay, so
What's the Facebook one, St. George, Utah?
St. George, yeah, Facebook sucks because St. George is like not a place on, it's Newmarket or Newport, and then it's Utah, it's like so troubling. It's like we don't want anyone to move in, so we're just hiding ourselves. We don't exist, it's fine. Reviews, okay, so when I ask for reviews, which I always do and I will tonight, I say a couple things. Number 1, please give me a review. It really matters to our online digital presence. Put a little bit of weight on the people. I always ask when they're happy. If I did not do a good job, I'm not asking. I'm like, before I send my bill, I'm like, by the way, would you mind leaving me well, they're the happiest. That's when you're like, if you don't mind. So after you do someone's nails and they're like, oh my gosh. You're like, hey, would you mind leaving me a review? And if you don't mind, can you even take a picture and add it? Because pictures do really well in reviews. My stuff, you can't take pictures
My
of.
stuff you can't either.
If you go to a restaurant and you want to like bless them, take a picture of the food and be like, this is great. I did one for 9 North a few years ago, and it has like, it might have hit 1 million views. It's like something ridiculous because I added pictures, because usually your reviews are text. So just specifically ask for what you want. The other thing I say is, hey, I built you a website, can you just make sure you mention that in the review? Because the worst is when someone gives you a 5-star review and then leaves. It doesn't tell Google anything, it doesn't tell anybody reading the reviews anything. So just be like, hey, did you find cool outfits at my thrift store? If you don't mind, like, would you mind taking a picture and like posting it online? Mental health starters, but there's no picture to be had. But you can be like, hey, can you mention that you bought the book and you took 3 tools and like put them into life and applied them and you improved or whatever. So I specifically ask. The other thing I started doing, once I had a girl and we were doing just one-on-one training, and I was like, Brittany, if you don't mind, would you leave me a review and just talk about that we did training? She's like, yeah, no problem. And I should have thought of this because she's like the biggest overthinker I've ever met in my life. Finally, she sent it to me. She's like, this took me half an hour to write. It was 3 sentences. And I was like, why did you waste your time? So now sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. People are busy. We know this. I'll write out my own. I'll say, hey, I'm so grateful I got to work with you. If you don't mind, Jen, can you just talk about how I built your website? You know, if you're busy, feel free to copy and paste this review. Sherri and her team were great. She built a website, she delivered on the time that she said she was going to talk, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times they're like copy paste, no one wants to think, but at least I have a review. So.
Is that kind of cheating?
Pardon?
Is that kind of cheating?
Absolutely.
True that.
You know what?
No, I'll show you cheating and it's going to happen tonight. Okay, blogs are an easy way to put keywords in there.
I'm not with you.
So blogs are horrible to write, but now we have this thing called ChatGPT that made life a lot easier.
Okay.
So add blogs to your websites, because a lot of times once you build your website, you're done. But Google likes it when you have fresh information. So blogs are an easy way to do that. You don't have to do one a week, but do like 6 a year, or do 1 a month, whatever is reasonable. I do, so if you look at my things, it's never like, here's everything I do. It's always like social media manager, website, SEO, content marketing, building your brand. It's just like always keyword focused. And then I always add a picture because pictures have a ton of information in them. And I take time to, change whatever.
How often
stuff
do you
like that.
refresh those?
Pardon?
How often do you refresh those? Do you refresh those?
I do. So I ideally I would do 2 a month, but I have not done. I probably have on my website. I was doing 1 a day. 1 a week, but like, man, life gets
And
busy.
But
social
are
media?
there any rules like of how often to keep current with Google you would expect you need to do?
No, every few weeks. Google's not okay. So Google is going to save its time and energy. It's not crawling your site every single day, but it'll be like, oh, you know what? We haven't crawled Purple Bean for a while. Let me just, and then it'll be like, oh, they have 3 new blogs. And if you add stuff, you can ask it to crawl. There's a way to make it happen. So yeah, so I do. I try and do 1 a month at this point, and
I think Will's got a question or a
yes.
comment.
To your point, you can add a sitemap, and the sitemap will tell Google, hey, I update this content once a year, once a month, once
Oh,
a day.
alright.
And then that way the bots will visit
Looking
it
for you?
more on a scheduled basis versus.
Okay.
Randomly. Yeah, because if you,
Sure.
they're kind of like people like asking for a date. If you keep saying no, they're just going to stop eventually. So they, if you don't have anything, it will eventually stop crawling your site. So anyway, blogs are an easy way to get through. I would say real world reviews, but we are running out of time. Okay, so speaking of cheating, if you leave me a review, you get a prize.
Sure, you
So
did a
let
great
me
job
know.
of explaining
Now,
to us how
I
to
would
fix
never
our
do this digitally because Google would be like, you're not allowed to pay for prizes. This is not, or pay for reviews. It's actually not right. And this is the first time I've done it, so we'll see what happens. But reviews are really important. I look at reviews all the time. I'm heading to Windsor in June for a baby shower, and I am gonna look at breweries or restaurants or if they wait hotels. And if everyone has a 1-star review, I'm not going. But if a restaurant has like 45 stars, I'll be like, ooh, cool. So reviews really do matter. So if you take a picture of that or bring that up on your camera, you can click the link, leave a review. And this is what I would say if I was you guys to train. Say something about training. So anyway, that's that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. We have a few minutes left. But
I'll get ChatGPT to write it way better than I am.
Do you ever find algorithms